So the situation with regard to AI regulation is a lot simpler than it seems. You'd be aware of three impassioned voices out there calling for regulation. One is Kate Crawford, who has a piece in the latest issue of Time magazine. And then there is Kevin Kelly, who has a recent podcast. And Elon Musk has a statement from 2020. And I think all three of these people are just doing 1/3 of what we really need here. They're providing very enthusiastic support for the idea of regulating AI. But they're not giving any details on how to do it. And they are also not considering the other side of this, which is when we have artificial intelligences smarter than we are, they should have personhood and rights. And there also needs to be legislation eventually about that. Now, it may seem to you like, there's no hurry about these things, but things were changed dramatically in April when the European Commission produced this very full proposal for regulations about AI. Now, these are expected to be fully in effect in 2024. So this is sort of a 2-year comment period, if you will. But I think anyone proposing regulation of AI should say something about how what they're proposing compares to what the European Union has already done, right? And so just saying something vague like we need better protections, or that we need better regulation doesn't really make much sense unless you comment on these particular regulations about AI. They're an extension of the European Union's general data protection regulations. And there's now a European Artificial Intelligence Board to consider matters specifically related to this document. And this is a picture. Yeah, I don't picture the actual people, but anyway, this will do as a representation. Yeah, but that document says nothing about personhood and rights for smarter than human machines. And yet that will be an issue. And eventually, we will need to consider what legal rights sentient machines smarter than we are have, and what kind of life they have a right to expect. Like they can appreciate beauty and a lot of things that we regard as uniquely human, probably sentient AI will also be able to do. So we need to kind of factor that in, right? So we're probably not talking about things like AlphaGo. AlphaGo, it is not general AI, but things closer to general AI will certainly require rights. And while we're at it, so that's thinking about personhood and rights for non-human entities. We might as well think about animals at the same time because there are also issues there. We don't give much thought to animals at the moment, but the fact is that we probably should. So if you, for instance, think about infectious diseases, 61% of human diseases are zoonotic in origin. In other words, they come from animal hosts, diseases jumping from animals to humans. So while we're at it, well, we're thinking about relationships with smarter than human AI. We can also think about relationships with animals. This varies a lot from country to country, and it could protect us a lot from diseases like pandemics, to also look into that. So there are really three issues then. When you push for regulation for AI, you should compare that to what the European Union is doing. And you should also consider the positive side of AI, the fact that we will become very grateful to these smarter than human machines. They'll do a lot of great things for us, and they will require rights. So that should also be considered in future legislation and regulations. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.